Welcome, everybody. I address the people of Britain and the rest of the world. I'm just an average man, like the vast majority of you, and I felt it necessary at this point in time to express my very deep concerns about the whole world and the way we're going. We are in a terrible situation, worse than I have ever known in my entire life. Our politicians that we employ to work in our interests seem to be doing the exact opposite. Look around yourselves. What do we see? Instead of peace, which we are supposed to be promoting throughout the world, we're bringing war, misery, hardship, and destruction. This cannot continue. It has to end before we are all doomed. And this is no light chitter-chatter. This is reality. I mean, I'm speaking to you from Cromwell County, Cambridgeshire. And what I see around me is horrifying. Where has all the money gone? The infrastructure is crumbling. Our rivers are poisoned. The air is now being poisoned with chemtrails and HAARP weather stations. Our government is working against the very laws they use against us. And they got no pity when it comes to us. They will use the full force of the law and yet allow themselves to be serial offenders, mocking us. How can we stand by, allow that to happen? Why did we bother having families, having children? What do we want for the future of our children? More of this? Getting worse? I mean, just look at Ukraine and what's happening in Israel right now. Now it comes to light that the whole Ukraine war was basically initiated by the US, the CIA, and that Miss Newland was very much part of that. And why? Because the United States wanted to weaken Russia so it can concentrate on China. And worrying is the fact that NATO and US apparently met in Ramstein in Germany and agreed that should Ukraine lose, as they will, and we know that now, Europe is to continue the war. If that happens, and we are backing this, the West I'm talking about, do you really believe if Russia sees an existential threat, they're going to take that? They're going to allow that to happen? I don't think so. And I do really believe that Russia would use nukes. And they would maybe hit just part of Europe to send a very strong message. And what would the US do? What they always do. They would back off and leave us to our own devices. When are the people of the world going to realize the facts? The US is friend to no one but itself. And so is Israel. In fact, Israel has managed to infiltrate the entire West with their wealth. And they are controlling much of it, too much of it. And we are happy to go along with it. Not the public, but our governments. They're not working in our interests. They now want to give power to unelected institutions like the WHO and the WEF, to let them decide what happens to us. No control for us. We have no say. We have no vote. We have no democracy. None of it. It's all make-believe. We're being fooled. And we are supposed to allow this to carry on? Do we? Really? I mean, look at the COVID situation. We now know that Wuhan was no conspiracy theory. America actually financed a substantial part of this research into the coronavirus. And they paid for it. And they're doing that abroad so that they don't breach their domestic laws. And what has it brought us? Embalmers are now finding white clots not known before 21. Hemorrhage death certificates have gone up 600%. 600%. The Health Security Agency, with the figures of the ONS, government figures, have released now figures that make my hair stand up. England's vaccinated population has had nearly 1 million deaths in 23 months. The unvaccinated, less than 61,000 in the same period. Yet 30% of the population never had a single COVID-19 injection. So you're talking 70%, 1 million, 30%, less than 61,000. Do the maths. Are they helping us? Or are they killing us? And what for? Profit is always the forerunner for everything. And where does the profit go? Not to us. We're worse off all the time. A man used to be able to earn the wages for the whole family and have a little spare. Now both parents have to work, and still can't make ends meet a lot of the time. How did that happen? How has this all come about? And we're just standing by? And you want to give your vote to those politicians who are acting like this? The Tories have utterly decimated this country in 14 years. But in my opinion, vote for Starmer and you ain't seen nothing yet. And it's going to get considerably worse. And why are they telling us about this global warming? In our age, we have got one of the lowest levels of CO2 recorded in human history. We know that. The facts are there, just look them up. And yet they're talking we need to get rid of CO2. Where's this insanity come from? Are we self-destructing? Because that's what it looks like. And we stand or sit at home watching TV and listen to all the BS that comes out of the main news propaganda stations, because that's all it is now. They avoid all the news about Israel as much as possible and back them up. How can they? Now you might or might not like the Palestinians, but does it really matter? Are they not human beings like us? Do they not deserve fair treatment? There's no doubt Israel is a parasite. It is an apartheid state and has been since 1948. And it's to this country's shame that we were part of the Nakba and never sorted out anything, left them to their devices. And bit by bit, as they say, the old salami tactic, slice up the slice until you get the whole sausage. That's how Israel has behaved. Now the way that they treat those people, it's beyond human. It's unbelievably cruel. And whatever part of the political spectrum you may be, you can't say for one moment this is right. It is wrong all the way. And we've got to stand up for it. If we don't, heaven help us. And I don't think even that's going to happen. We owe it to ourselves. We have a responsibility as individuals to do what we can individually to stop this going on. We can't walk away from that responsibility and say, oh yeah, we pay those people and they're supposed to be working for us, so let them do their job. No. You see what they do with the power you give them. They withhold the truth from us and call it's in their national security. Is it? They break the law left, right and center. And no accountability. Should they not be as accountable as we are for what they do? Should they not be held to account? Do they not owe us that? And the same with the media. What matters more? Your paycheck or the truth? Are you reporters or propagandists? Because the latter seems to be the case of late. Journalistic malpractice seems to be the order of the day. And we're supposed to be happy with that. Lulled into a false sense of security. our lives, the lives of our children, and their future, our future combined, is at stake here, nothing less. And I think it's high time we stand up